All right, all right. Welcome to another segment of More with David Moore. I am here because I'm excited about this podcast that we are doing. And I'm even more excited because we got started during a time where I was in the middle of an election. And thank God to you all, we have gotten the victory once again. But we'll talk to you all about that a little more. But again, for you all for the first time that's seeing More with David Moore, this segment and this show is about, and this podcast is about letting you all get information about what I'm doing at the aldermanic office as well as your committeeman. But also, I'm going to have different segments where I bring in business people from the community that you can see and know about their business. I'm going to bring in, what my excitement part, a segment about the best of our youth, the best of our youth. I was going to say more for youth because that's part of our youth organization, but I want you all to see the best of our youth, the best of our youth. And so we will have that segment as well as bringing on just regular constituents to talk about how they're seeing the community. Not ones that just agree with me, but even ones that disagree with me. We'll be bringing on elected officials, letting them talk to you so that you just won't see them around election time or hear from them around election time. You'll hear from them before and let them tell you about what they're doing in the community. And so you're going to get more with David Moore. So constantly tune in and share our podcast with people so that they can be informed, educated, and empowered. And that's what we're trying to do here, to inform, educate, and empower you all. Again, I'm excited because on Tuesday we had an election and we were in a somewhat of a heated battle. But I always tell people, and I look at things in a spiritual realm, especially when God speaks to me. When you're dealing with demonic spirits, you can't fight demonic spirits. You have to turn them over to God. And trust me, it'll show that their arms are too short to box with God. But then there's a human side of this as well, and it's for us to tell the truth about people, for us to get information so you all won't be blindsided. My heart is broken because we lost a great state representative in Mary Flowers. I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about my win today, but then I'm also talk about us, how we move forward in terms of making sure you all are informed, educated, and empowered. Let me start with State Representative Mary Flowers. Unfortunately, when you have people who have personal differences, those personal differences should not impact the way a person serves. And so State Representative Mary Flowers has been a great servant for 38 years, bringing resources to our community, and especially as it relates to our seniors. Unfortunately, some powers down in Springfield, they were bumping heads for whatever reason, and they decided that they wanted to go after State Representative Flowers. And and as I told her, she didn't lose. When somebody has to put over $1 million, spend over $1 million for a state rep race, a state representative race, $1 million, and you only got like close to $100,000. That's a tough cookie. But also, here it is, you all. This is where you all come in. You all can't allow just anybody to put something in your mailbox and say this person did that and you believe it. You have to do your homework. You have to find people that you can trust so you can validate what you're reading is true. Don't wait. If she's had this problem, why is it just coming out now? No, she didn't have a problem at all. And so we've lost a great state representative who are bringing resources to our community. And if you all don't think it matters, you all. It matters. So all I'm asking you all is to stop. The moment you see something you've never seen before, you call a meeting around and call me and say, Alderman, let's bring everybody to the table. Who's after her and why? Let's bring her to the table, because I'm not saying you have to believe her. All I'm saying is just don't believe everything that you just see and just somebody drop in your mailbox. And I'm happy always to bring a meeting around there. Everything ain't about a debate or forum. It's about educating and informing you. and educating and informing you so that you can be empowered. So I'm going to keep State Representative Mary Flowers in my prayers as she moves on, because let me tell you all, after 38 years, all she was making was $85,000 a year. But after her pension, she's bringing in over $200,000 a year. If that was a woman that cared about the money, she'd have quit a long time ago just to sit down and collect her pension. No, she cared about the community, and she was willing to just make $85,000 a year after 38 years, just $85,000 a year, because she knew that the issues that she was fighting for, no one else was fighting for, and especially as it relates to our seniors. So, Mary, State Representative Flowers, you are always a champion in my heart. I appreciate you, and I know you still have the knowledge. And you were serving before you got elected, and I know you're going to be serving in some form of capacity, just whether it's a regular citizen, because service is in your heart. So I encourage you, State Representative Mary Flowers, and I am sorry that we lost you. And it has nothing to do with her opponent. That guy is a nice guy. The new elect Representative Crawford, a nice guy. But it ain't about that. It's about you. We can't allow outside people to choose who they want to be our representatives. If you all were tired of her and ready for her to go, then that should have been a move made by the community, not by somebody from the outside. And so, unfortunately, we had very low voter turnout, and we'll talk about that in another segment, because as committeeman and alderman, I want to make sure that we are turning out the vote. I work with Latina Brady, a rising star in this community. We were going around to different schools, whether it was Simeon, Perspective, and other schools throughout the city, registering young people to vote. And so we've gotten those voting numbers up, and we're going to keep registrations up, but we got to now convert those registrations into votes. Just don't register to vote, and then you don't go out there and vote. So that is very important. The other part I said I wanted to talk about was my race. A lot of people didn't understand. And those ones that didn't understand are the ones that don't come to the community meetings. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit towards the end. The committeeman and the alderman. The committeeman and the alderman. People saying, Dave, alderman, we just elected you in 2023 for alderman. We didn't know you were on the ballot again for committeeman. We were confused. We didn't know. And so let me tell you again, the aldermanic seat is the paid position, that the elected paid position, that whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or you're a religion that don't vote at all, I have to serve you anyway. You're a taxpayer. You're a citizen of Chicago. I have to serve you. I have to make sure that I'm advocating for you. I have to make sure that the community is getting resources. I have to make sure that when you call, that we answer, and we try to get those things done down at City Hall for you. Always remember, and I got to educate you all, the mayor controls every department. I don't control the departments. My job is to make sure those departments are doing what they're supposed to do, and when they're not, then we got to put pressure on the administration, whoever's in that mayoral seat. So when we're talking about streets getting fixed and all of that, you say, Alderman, you didn't get my street fixed. No, not that. I didn't. We get $1.5 million in menu money every year that I have to spread from 67th to 87th, from Lafayette by the Dan Ryan all the way to Central Park. Those are the ones that we get to try to do some of the worst streets in our ward. It's up to the city with my avocation in terms of areas that I know that are bad, but also the ones that the city, as they send their big team out looking at streets, that they supposed to be getting done. And so it's very important that you know these roles. These different roles. So as an alderman, I advocate for you. I make sure we get resources for our community. Now, the committeeman side is a different thing. That's the unpaid position that's tied to the alderman. It's the 17th Ward position. That's why it's called 17th Ward Committeeman. And what the committeeman does is our responsibility is to slate candidates. We also, at the election polls, choose the judges, only the Democratic judges. There's supposed to be a Republican committeeman in the ward. There's a spot for it, but nobody just never ran for it because we don't have a lot of Republicans in the ward. But as the Democratic committeeman, I get to select and choose the judges at the election place who's going to be doing the good work. But also that committeeman, part of that committeeman's job and assignment is to make sure that we are slating candidates who are going to bring resources to our community. And so when I'm asking you all, hey, this is the person I need you to endorse, this is the person I need you to support, it's not just me doing it unilaterally. What I did and what I'm going to continue to do is when these elections are coming up, we call these people in, let you all hear from them. Let you all hear from them. And then you all tell me who you want me to slate, because we have to learn the power of what I call a collective vote. Not just I voted. It doesn't mean nothing if I got 1,000 people in my ward, although I got 53,000, but I'm just giving an example. It means nothing if I got 1,000 people in my ward and 2,000 vote for that person, 2,000 vote for this person, another 2,000 vote for that person, and everybody else split everywhere else. And we said, well, David, you had 10,000 people to come out to vote. Well, I meant to say 200. I was saying 2,000. I meant to say 200 because I said 1,000 people. So I was meant to say 200 here, 200 there. But then you'll say, well, David, out of 1,000 residents, you had 1,000 people to come out to vote. That's good. Yeah, it's good that they came out, but the vote was split everywhere. And the power is not in splitting the vote. The power is having a collective vote. The community as a collective, at least a majority, decide this is who we're going to get behind. That's the power that you have. So when I'm talking about informing you, educating you, and empowering you, that's what that is about. It's not choosing somebody because I know them, because I like them. It's about who's going to bring resources to your community based on what you all hear from them. And so when you hear from them, you all choose that candidate, and that's who you all tell me to slate. That's who we vote for, and that goes to power. So that no matter who wins or loses, you always win. Let me say this again. No matter who wins or loses, you got to put yourself in a position that you always win. And so how do you do that? So even if you all choose the candidate and tell me to slate someone, we slate them. And then the other person run, and our candidate loses that we slated. Do you lose? No. Because that other candidate, because of you all's collective vote and power, going to want to come to you because you all have a collective vote. And that's what that is all about. And that is the committeeman side and all of this. It's the unpaid position where we're working to use our voice as a collective vote, empowering us, making sure we slate candidates who are doing and bringing resources to our community. I'm never going to tell you to vote for somebody that's not bringing resources to our community. The reason why? Because you all don't see all these people. You'll vote them. You never see you never probably see get to talk to your state rep, your state senator as often. You don't get to talk to your congressman and all of them as often. The president, the mayor. What you're showing up is at the doorsteps of the alderman, and that's okay. We're taking care on the heat for everybody. But if I'm going to take on that heat, they're going to share some of that heat. And what it is, I'm going to make sure that you know what they are doing. I'm going to make sure that I'm slating people that, hey, they don't have to take the heat because they're bringing the resources. And if they're not, then we'll bring the heat to them. And so that's what this is about. So know the difference between that. What I also need you all to do, as I was looking on Facebook, one thing I've learned in life, you can't please everybody. You cannot please everybody. If you're pleasing everybody, it's either two things. You're lying to them or you're not a good leader. Because good leaders have to make tough decisions. And when you make those tough decisions, somebody gonna be disappointed. Somebody gonna be disappointed. So you can't please everyone. Therefore, as we're making sure that we're selecting people, as we're making sure that we're being honest about the people that we select and the things that we're doing, it's important that you all attend these community meetings. Because I would see people on Facebook post, oh, I ain't never seen him, or he haven't been over here, or he hasn't done nothing here. And most of the people that's saying that are not involved. I encourage you to get involved. I ain't say you have to come to every meeting, because I know you got your own little daily lives, but you should be coming to some of the community meetings. These are not just gripe sessions. We don't do that. We give information to inform, educate, and empower you. Therefore, you know my system. If you don't have my cell phone number, you've never been to my community meeting, you've never been to my constituent night. I have constituent night every Monday night from 5 to 7. Anybody can come and see me as long as they're in the door by 7 o'clock. And I will see people up until midnight if I have to. You get to talk to me one-on-one about your issues or anything like that. And so it's important that you stay connected to me. I am the most accessible alderman in the city of Chicago. Everybody all my constituents got my cell phone number, or should have it. If you don't have it, again, you're not involved. So it's very important that you get involved. So please call my office at 773-783-3672. Make sure we have your email. It's important that we have your email because we send out a weekly newsletter full of information. Please make sure we have your email address. Also, make sure we have your phone number. Periodically, not every day, not every month, and all of that, we send out robocalls about critical meetings that we're having or just important information. And so those robocalls are very expensive, and so those are not something that we do every night. You don't have to worry about that. But when we do send out a robocall, you're going to know that, hey, if the alderman is calling, this must be something important, okay? Because those robocalls are very expensive to send out. So let us make sure we have your email. Let's make sure we have your phone number, and make sure you have my cell phone number. I also have a piece of literature out that's called the 17th Ward Connect. Pick it up at the office. We put them in everybody's mailbox. We've mailed them out. Some people probably thought it was political literature. We did this over 2 years about during the aldermanic election, and we did it just throughout the year. We do give them at the community meetings. We have them at our aldermanic office. Get your 17th Ward Connect. I call it the 17th Ward Bible because it lays out all the information, on how my office operates and how I can best serve you. And let me just give you an example. One of the process is if you see a street light out, don't be the one that just say, man, when the alderman gonna get this light on? You gotta call it in. I don't always see everything, and it's impossible to do so. We drive around, my staff drive around. We got 53,000 people. Our ward is larger than Calumet City. Calumet City has a mayor, 7 aldermen, and the supporting staff. You just got an alderman, and we got 4 full-time people. So we're doing a lot with very little. And so make sure that we have your information. Make sure you're calling and letting us know about those potholes. You got to call 311. Get that service request number. Should ask for a time frame. They say, okay, that light should be on in 10 days. Come the 11th day, business day, the 11th business day, that light isn't on. Do you call 311 back? No. You call my office, give them their service request number, and say, hey, we called 311. They said it was going to be on in 10 days, 10 business days. Today is the 11th business day. That light isn't on. My office will take that service request number, and then that light should be on in 1 to 2 days because you already waited what? Your 10 days. So you shouldn't have to wait another 10 days. Now, just say my office dropped the ball. Just say they miss it or whatever. Don't get upset. That's when you call me on my cell and said, Alderman, I did everything you told me to do. I called 311. They said it was going to be on in 10 days. It wasn't on. I called your office. Today is the 4th day. It's not even on. I got it from there. The buck then stops with me at that point. And so that is easy. It's very rare that people have to call me on my cell because my staff don't drop that ball a lot. But we're human, and it's a big ward. We're human, and it's a huge ward. And so sometimes things may get missed. I learned that from working in this stuff since I was 11 years old. I've been serving this community since I was 11 years old. And therefore, I've learned this, and that's why I give my people my cell phone number. Also, Reverend Clay Evans taught me, if you're going to be a shepherd, your sheep should be able to touch you. And I want you all always to have access to me. And so that's where it starts with you all. You're going to always get more with David Moore. You're going to always get more with David Moore. And I want to make sure you all are engaged and not getting false narratives, not getting false information. So again, as I prepare to close this segment, it's going to be a little shorter than normal, but I just really want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart who came out on election day and voted. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart who read all that false literature. Person paid over $100,000 to run, getting Republican money in to support, and we didn't spend nearly that much. Nearly, because when somebody is demonic, you got to tell people, you got to turn it over to God, because you can't fight God's battle. Remember that. You can't fight God's battle. And it's not about anybody. Anybody can run and have a right to run. But when people have demonic spirits, when they do demonic things, when they treat people in demonic ways, then you know they're demonic. And when you recognize somebody being demonic, you immediately got to turn that over to God, and God will handle them for you. And just to others out there, I didn't seek being alderman. This was a calling on my life that I ran away from. I tell people there are two people I keep my eyes on. Anybody saying they want to be a preacher, and anybody saying they want to be an elected official. I ran from it. So when God calls you to do something, you're aligned with him. And there are people got to understand, and if they're not knowing by what they're seeing, what they saw this week, what they saw in the past when I first ran, don't touch God's anointed. Otherwise, you'll be a victim of that as well, because I'm going to turn you over to the Lord. Work with me. Don't try to work against me, because I'm working for the people. This seat don't belong to me. It belongs to the people. I'm just a steward over the seat that the people allow me to have and who are trusting me with. And so let's continue to work together to move our community forward. And I look forward to coming back to you for our the best of our youth segment. That's one of my favorite segments. I love our young people. You're going to see our shining stars and what they're doing in the community. I had about 4 new young guns that was helping me. Along with God, they're the young people that did it. They are the people that did it. And we got some great people. So continue to get more with David Moore. Continue to tune into our podcast. Also, give me a call at 773-846-0289, 773-846-0289, and let me know about some of the things or topics that you may want to hear about on More with David Moore. And so I look forward to hearing from you, and you all have a great weekend. And don't forget, tune in, because you get more with David Moore.